Welcome. Today, we're diving into the advantages borrowers gain by approaching the National Company Law Tribunal, or NCLT, under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. We'll break down not just the borrower benefits, but also the key concepts and definitions you need to know to navigate this process. Whether you're a business owner, a financial professional, or just curious about insolvency law, this video will give you a clear, structured overview. Let's start by understanding why NCLT is a game changer for borrowers facing financial distress. A major advantage for borrowers is that there's no need to pay a court fee when approaching NCLT. In traditional courts, fees can be as high as 5% or more of the claim amount, which can be a significant financial burden. By eliminating this cost, NCLT makes it more accessible for borrowers to seek resolution, especially when funds are already tight. This simple difference can make a world of difference for companies or individuals struggling with debt. Like traditional courts, where cases can drag on for 3 to 4 years, NCLT offers a much faster process. This is because NCLT doesn't focus on the recovery of money but rather on resolving insolvency. The time-bound nature of NCLT proceedings means borrowers and lenders can expect decisions in a fraction of the time, reducing uncertainty and helping businesses move forward more quickly. In NCLT, there are fewer chances for settlements at a lower amount. This means the process is more transparent and less likely to result in quick, low-value settlements that may not serve the interests of all parties. For borrowers, this ensures that the resolution is fair and that all stakeholders are considered, not just those who might benefit from a quick deal. NCLT's process is designed to be time-bound, forcing lenders to take decisive action. This structured timeline helps prevent endless delays and ensures that both borrowers and lenders are motivated to resolve the situation efficiently. For borrowers, this means less time spent in limbo and a clearer path to financial recovery or restructuring. A resolution plan approved by NCLT carries legal weight and is binding on all stakeholders. This means once a plan is in place, everyone involved must follow it, providing certainty and stability for borrowers. The legal sanction ensures that the agreed-upon terms are enforceable, reducing the risk of future disputes. The NCLT process is transparent and operates under judicial supervision. This removes the fear of investigation or vigilance from the lender's perspective, which can often slow down decision-making. For borrowers, this means a fairer process where decisions are made openly and with oversight, increasing trust in the outcome. During the moratorium period declared by NCLT, all creditors, legal cases, and recovery actions are put on hold. This gives borrowers breathing room to focus on restructuring without the pressure of ongoing lawsuits or asset seizures. It's a crucial safeguard that helps preserve the company's value while a resolution is being worked out. NCLT allows not just loans but all types of debt, including operational creditors and government dues, to be restructured, realigned, or even reduced under the code. This comprehensive approach means borrowers can address their entire debt situation in one place, making the process more manageable and effective. Borrowers have the option to apply to NCLT themselves under the code. In this case, the borrower's proposed insolvency professional (IP) is appointed as the interim resolution professional (IRP). This gives borrowers some control over the process and ensures their interests are represented from the start. Once the process begins, the company operates under the control of the interim resolution professional (IRP) or resolution professional (RP). Their main job is to preserve the economic value of the company as a going concern, ensuring that the business can continue to operate while solutions are explored. NCLT can be used as a measure of last resort when other restructuring options like CDR, SDR, or S4A have been exhausted. This means borrowers have a final structured avenue to resolve their financial distress, even if previous attempts have failed. The NCLT process makes it easier to attract new investors, whether financial, strategic, or joint venture partners. This is especially true for unlisted companies, where transparency and legal backing can reassure potential investors and facilitate fresh capital infusion. Borrowers may be able to raise additional finance during the corporate insolvency resolution process, CIRP, and this new funding gets priority as part of the CIRP cost. This can be a lifeline for companies needing working capital to keep operations running during the resolution process. Let's clarify some key concepts. Insolvency is a state where an individual or company's liabilities exceed their assets and they can't raise enough cash to meet obligations as they become due. It's essentially the inability to pay bills on time, often due to poor management, bad debts, or financial constraints. If insolvency isn't resolved, assets may be sold to repay debts. Bankruptcy is when a person or company is legally declared incapable of paying their due bills. It's a formal process, often involving either reorganization, where debts are restructured for easier repayment, or liquidation, where assets are sold to pay creditors. Bankruptcy is the legal effect of insolvency, and it can have long-term impacts on creditworthiness. It's important to distinguish between insolvency and bankruptcy. Insolvency is a financial state being unable to pay debts, while bankruptcy is a court order that decides how those debts will be handled. Not all insolvencies lead to bankruptcy, especially if the financial issues are temporary and can be corrected. Bankruptcy, however, is a formal legal process with lasting consequences. Liquidation is the process of winding up a company or incorporated entity. This means selling off assets to pay creditors and closing down the business. It's often the last step if a resolution plan can't be agreed upon during the insolvency process. Default occurs when a debt or any part of it, including interest, is not paid when due. Under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, a default must be at least 1 crore rupees for a case to be admitted to NCLT. This threshold ensures that only significant cases are brought before the tribunal. Code distinguishes between financial creditors and operational creditors. Financial creditors are those who have provided loans or debt securities, while operational creditors are owed money for operational transactions, such as suppliers, employees, or the government. Homebuyers are also recognized as financial creditors, giving them a voice in the process. A corporate debtor is the company or corporate person who owes a debt to any person. This includes companies, LLPs, and other entities established under law. The corporate debtor is the main subject of the insolvency resolution process in NCLT. Corporate applicant can be the corporate debtor itself, a member or partner authorized to apply, an individual managing operations, or someone controlling financial affairs. This broad definition ensures that those responsible for the company's finances can initiate the insolvency process when needed. The Committee of Creditors, or CoC, is formed by the interim resolution professional and consists of all financial creditors. The CoC plays a central role in the insolvency process, making key decisions by majority vote. Their voting share is based on the amount owed to them, ensuring fair representation. Moratorium is a period during which no legal proceedings or recovery actions can be taken against the corporate debtor. Declared by NCLT, it protects the company's assets and ensures the insolvency process can proceed without interference. Directors are also barred from using company funds during this time. Violating the moratorium can lead to serious penalties. Officials of the corporate debtor who breach the moratorium can face imprisonment and hefty fines. Even creditors who knowingly permit violations can be penalized. This strict enforcement ensures the integrity of the process. A resolution applicant is a person who submits a plan to resolve the debtor's financial distress. The plan details how debts will be restructured or repaid. The resolution professional appoints the applicant, ensuring that only serious, viable plans are considered for approval. Corporate Insolvency Resolution Process, or CIRP, is the structured process where creditors decide the future of the debt. They may choose to revive the debt by changing repayment terms or liquidate assets to pay off creditors. If no decision is reached in 180 days, liquidation follows automatically. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, or IBC, has created a robust ecosystem involving several key institutions. These include the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, IBBI, insolvency professionals, information utilities, and adjudicating authorities. Each plays a unique role in ensuring the process runs smoothly. The IBBI is the apex body overseeing the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. It includes representatives from the Reserve Bank of India and various ministries. IBBI sets up infrastructure, accredits professionals, and manages the overall process, ensuring high standards and accountability. Insolvency professionals, IPs, are licensed experts who manage the resolution process. They collect information, take control of assets, assess claims, and ensure the company continues as a going concern. Their expertise is crucial for fair and efficient outcomes. Information utilities are organizations that collect, store, and distribute information about company debts. Creditors report financial information to these utilities, ensuring transparency and accuracy in the insolvency process. This helps all parties make informed decisions. Insolvency professional agencies, IPAs, enroll and certify insolvency professionals. They conduct exams, set codes of conduct, and ensure professionals are qualified and ethical. There are currently 3 main IPAs in India, each playing a vital role in maintaining standards. Adjudicating authorities, or AAs, have exclusive jurisdiction over insolvency matters. For companies and LLPs, the National Company Law Tribunal (NCLT) is the authority. For individuals and partnerships, it's the Debt Recovery Tribunal (DRT). Appeals can be made to higher tribunals and ultimately the Supreme Court. The IBC provides a 3-tier appeal system. First, cases are heard by NCLT or DRT. Appeals go to the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal (NCLAT) or Debt Recovery Appellate Tribunal (DRAT). The final appeal can be made to the Supreme Court, ensuring thorough review and fairness. NCLT has territorial jurisdiction over the place where the registered office of the corporate person is located. All insolvency, liquidation, or bankruptcy proceedings for companies and LLPs are handled by the NCLT, making it the central hub for such cases. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code applies across India, including Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. It covers companies, LLPs, individuals, partnerships, trusts, and even entities established under statute, including those based outside India but operating here. Any person owed at least 1 crore rupees by a company or LLP can approach NCLT under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. This includes financial creditors, operational creditors, and even the company itself, ensuring broad access to the resolution process. Let's consider a few examples. If a supplier is owed more than 1 crore rupees by a company, they can approach NCLT for liquidation. Similarly, if a company cannot pay its debts, it can initiate the process itself. This flexibility ensures that all major stakeholders have a path to resolution. To recap, approaching NCLT offers borrowers no court fees, faster timelines, comprehensive debt restructuring, and legal protection. The process is transparent, supervised, and designed to preserve company value while offering a fair chance for recovery or restructuring. We've covered essential concepts like insolvency, bankruptcy, liquidation, default, and the roles of various stakeholders. Understanding these terms is crucial for anyone involved in the insolvency process, ensuring informed decisions and effective participation. NCLT is central to India's insolvency framework, providing a specialized, efficient, and fair platform for resolving financial distress. Its structured approach benefits both borrowers and creditors, supporting economic stability and business continuity. From the borrower's perspective, NCLT offers a lifeline during financial crisis. The process is designed to be fair, transparent, and protective, giving companies a real chance to recover, restructure, or, if necessary, wind down in an orderly manner. Lenders also benefit from NCLT's process. The legal framework reduces risks, ensures transparency, and provides clear timelines for action. This encourages more decisive and confident decision-making, benefiting the entire financial ecosystem. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, with NCLT at its core, is transforming how financial distress is managed in India. By promoting transparency, efficiency, and fairness, it's helping businesses, creditors, and the economy as a whole move forward with confidence. Summary: approaching NCLT under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code offers borrowers a structured, fair, and efficient way to address financial distress. With clear rules, strong protections, and a focus on resolution, NCLT is a vital tool for companies and creditors alike. Understanding its advantages and the key concepts involved is essential for anyone navigating India's insolvency landscape.